Good evening, everybody. It's about 11 p.m. and it's now the 19th of September 2021. I'm Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, and this is Kemi Talks Life. Last night I was talking about my son and his father, Mr. Babs Ogunade. At approximately 17 minutes and 39 seconds into the video, I talked about how he went to see my son in America and they were taking pictures. Did you guys do a DNA test? No, but you were taking pictures. Well, this morning I found out some new information. Shocking to me, to say the least. I'm sad, but I don't need to be. I have braced up for 35 years, and I don't think now is the time to lose everything and lose composure. It's painful, but I do have to move on again. I'm asking for 50 million naira, which is the equivalent of my child support for the 18 years, 102,700, without interest. That's how much that comes to, 50 million naira. With that, I can do a lot. My quality of life can change. I can get a nicer place to live. I can have a car, and also my health and other things. However, what I found out today is about life. It's about life, and life is really, really short. I think I told you that Mr. Babs Ogunade is divorced. Today I found out he has 2 daughters, no sons. My son is his only son, and he's the oldest. I told you that he converted my son into my enemy. I serve a living God. My son called me today. My son unblocked me from WhatsApp, and he called me today to tell me that, Mommy, I want us to be a happy family. This is the new Annie. I'm no longer violent. All the things he did when he was profoundly autistic. He said he's no longer violent. I haven't seen Annie since 2011. That's 10 years since we left Canada. He said he wanted a good relationship with me. Earlier this month, I told you, I asked him how did he meet his father. He wouldn't tell me. But he said his father told him that I was the one that kept him away or something of the sort. And he used to say his father was dead, and I would tell him, don't say that. I kept all the screenshots. What came to me today was very shocking, truly shocking. My son told me that it all started with his sisters. I was stunned. Who are your sisters? He said, my dad has 2 daughters. My sisters came into my DM in Instagram because we have the same last name. They wanted to know whether we're related, but my son never really used that last name on his profile, so I don't understand, where they saw the name. They may have seen that name on his profile, and then he changed it again because his username doesn't have Ogunade. It just has any or Enitan and his date of birth. Well, what happened next was he spoke to them and they introduced themselves. Those girls did not come ordinarily. They were sent. I don't know who sent them. It could be their mother, Mr. Babs Ogunade's ex-wife. I don't know. But these girls are 23 and one is going to be 29 next month. These ages are comparable to when he got married, meaning that he had a child right after he got married, something of the sort, 1993. At the end of the day, my son was excited about his sisters. He gave me their Instagram pages. I looked at them. They look like their mom. And they were in the UK. And he now told me that they were not speaking to their father. They weren't in talking terms because their father has a really big problem with communication. And that their father had not sent them gifts for their graduations. This part of my son's life is not my problem or issue. I'm just listening to something about someone who failed with me. And I say failed because I had a relationship that was just starting and it failed. It ended up in a pregnancy and I was abandoned and sent away. But to them, that was their mother and their father married, and something broke down somewhere. However you see it, we're all family now. So my son in America has been talking to Babs' daughters. Those are his half-sisters. These are his 3 children. Where do we go from here? I don't know. But to my shock, my son said the sisters organized the meeting with the father, with him. And the father called him in America while he was there. I told you that they had games they were playing there. The Tigers were playing games, friendly games. They were wearing Sound Salts on t-shirts, and they went to the Olympics and came back. The father called him and told him to meet him in Trenton, New Jersey. Trenton is a bad city in New Jersey. Trenton is full of black people. There's a lot of violence and drugs. It's just somewhere I don't like to be at. And today I don't even know how Trenton looks. You could be standing by the road and somebody will come up to you and ask you for money. If you don't have it, they can stab you or kill you, shoot you. So those areas are no-go areas. Well, they told my son, a high-functioning autistic man, the dad called him and said, okay, meet us at the station at Trenton, New Jersey. He said he got to the station. There was a woman in the car driving and a man. He said those were my dad's sister and brother. I don't know. It might be Kemi Olunloyo. They said he has a sister called Kemi Olunloyo. And the Kemi lady could have come with her husband. I don't know, but they said she lives in the States. But he said my aunt, and my uncle were in the car and my dad, and I met my dad for the first time. And then they drove us. The lady drove them to a medical center to get a DNA test. Last night in 17.39, I said in the video, you guys were taking pictures. Did you take a DNA test? No. Well, they did. And I just feel that this is something that shouldn't have been done behind me. Yesterday and the days before, I was complaining. I'm sorry. Sometimes I lose consciousness because of my anxiety. Yesterday and the day before, I was complaining about Mr. Ogunade going behind me to meet my son in America, blaming it on possibly my family because my sister is his guardian in Philadelphia, and who would have allowed them to meet? Little did I know that the daughters were the one that put this all together. But when they drove him, did he know what he was going to do? DNA test. To test if he was really the father of this young man. But yet he told somebody that this child looks just like me, he's my junior, he's this, he's that. I was happy. If you remember the story when it was on Instablog Nigeria, I went there and I commented, among all your comments, I think I said, I hope you've had your DNA tests. And that's exactly what they went to do on that day. Everything I've said has come to pass. So at the end of the day, they did a DNA test. And then they dropped my son off at the station. And that's when they took those photos you saw. I asked my son, did your dad give you anything? Did he give you money, transportation to take your train back? My son said no. So, Mr. Babs Ogunade, you gave my son nothing. For me, that's luring. You lured him from his house to meet you in another state, next door to Pennsylvania, Trenton, New Jersey. You drove him to a medical center to get a DNA test. He said they took a swab off his mouth and they told him the results will come out soon. It's now about a month, 14th of August to 14th of September, And my son told me today that the DNA test is not out yet. They said it'll be out on Tuesday. Today's Sunday night. So hopefully when it's out on Tuesday, you can now know that he's your child. But if that's what you're waiting for, I can fully understand. But I used to think DNA tests had to do with all three people. You know what I mean? But apparently not. At the end of the day, if it's your child, which he is, are you gonna then give me my back child support? Or if it's not your child, are you waiting to prove that he's not your child? I don't understand this. Well, when the tests come, everybody should wake me up. I just need help. I need help. I have begged from hand to mouth for everything since that boy was born. Everything I worked for in my 30s and 40s, I had to give it up and lose everything. This is it's creating a lot of stress for me, a lot of pain, a lot of anxiety. But please let me know if you're going to help me. At least the DNA test will prove that you're the father. I've always wanted to wait for that. Now, finally. Please help me. I just need help. I spend too much money, too much time on my son. My son and I are in a great relationship today. We spoke very well. I want to thank all of you. Kemi Talks Life will continue, but this segment about my son and his father ends right now. And let me continue if I have any updates. I really miss my son. I wish he could fly to Nigeria and meet with me. Maybe have a family reunion. I don't know.